Hello, this is Jim Skelly. Hope you're all doing well. We had a very, very good time in Hungary this past week with the students there, and I must say that I was very, very impressed with their engagement with the course and with their uh, some of the issues they raised. I want to recommend. I'm going to send you all an email about this. Um, because I think it's important. One of the things that we looked at together while we were there, the students in Derry have seen it, and now the students in Hungary have seen it as well. And that's a little over a 1 hour video called Machiaopolis. Machiaopolis is a documentary focused on the maquias, the factories that have been built along the U.S.-Mexican border on the Mexican side. And the reason they're built is so that the multinational corporations like Panasonic, Sony, numerous others can build their equipment in Mexico paying much cheaper wages than they do in the United States. And then shipping them back across the border and therefore making even greater profits. Now, not only do they pay very low wages, I mean, the women who are working in the maquias make about $68 a week, and on top of that, they're exposed to innumerable amounts of pollution and occupational safety hazards. What seems very clear, of course, is that this again is another way of cost saving for major corporations. In other words, they don't have to put in the equipment that takes care of environmental pollution or various safety measures, which cost the money and therefore cut into profit. So they don't do that. And what the filmmakers of Machiaopolis did was to give 5 of the women who were working in these factories their own video cameras so that they could contribute their own documentation of the character of their lives and work to the film. And it's very, very powerful. It's very compelling, and I want to tell you where you can see at least clips from this if you don't have the video itself. And I'll send you this as well in the email, but it's at Machiaopolis, Maquilapolis, Machiaopolis.com. And you'll find a lot of information there about the film and what the film is talking about. Now, what was interesting in Hungary was that when we finished watching the film, we, of course, had a discussion about it. And I asked people exactly what they saw, what struck them, those kinds of things. And one of the most telling things, I think, for people watching it was in Hungary was the commentary of Miro Endo, who has come from Kumba in Cameroon. And Miro said, very interestingly, I think, that he said it's just the same in Cameroon. Only it's not these components for computers and other electronic gear that people are making. It's banana plantations. And he told the story about him. He himself has worked on one of these banana plantations, and they're enormous. I think I've mentioned to some people that what seems to be happening in many parts of Africa is that large areas are being turned over to multinational corporations who are in the agribusiness, the agricultural corporations, and they are producing food for Europe, Asia, and the United States. Now, in Miro's case, what he talked about was the way in which the bananas in Cameroon are produced. One thing that bananas are subject to various fungi and pests. And so on a regular basis, the companies that are growing the bananas spray very potent pesticides, apparently, on the bananas, even while the workers are in the fields. Miro said that it's so bad, the stuff is so strong, apparently, that even birds trying to fly up into the sky to avoid this find themselves falling to the ground dead. I'm hoping that we can spend a bit more time on Cameroon and Africa. I've gotten an email today from Elvis, who's also from Cameroon. And I think it's probably a good idea because I see a lot. Africa is very rich in certain ways, but it's being heavily exploited by those of us who live in the consumerized societies of the rich part of the world. So I hope we'll get a chance to take a look at that. So that's about Machiapolis. I'll tell you a bit about that in the film, in the email I send you as well, and make sure you have the link. I hope everybody's had a chance. I must say I'm terribly impressed with the way in which the discussions in the learning circles are going. Some of the discussions are just incredibly rich, and I hope you'll all engage, put your photos up. Some of you still have not put photos up. We want to see you. Put photos up and reveal a little bit about yourselves, not too much, but reveal a bit about yourselves, and let's see if we can't have rich discussions across all of the learning circles. This week there's a number of things to take a look at. One is this very amusing but somewhat frightening 3-minute animated video about the population explosion in rich countries and the consequences environmentally of it. That's called The Stork. One of the most important things to look at is Paul Ehrlich's lecture. He made a great deal of fame 40 years ago writing a book called The Population Bomb. And he discusses in this lecture the changes in the environmental situation from 40 years ago to today, and talking about how humanity has become this kind of virus that has taken over the planet. And it's destroying other life support systems. So do take a look at that if you please, if you can at all. Also, there's a very interesting discussion about by the director of Human Rights Watch, Kenneth Roth, who explains how environmental abuse has led to human rights violations in parts of Africa, in Darfur, Nigeria, Angola, and also in Indonesia. And finally, I noticed that Angela Sugarts, who's studying in Ireland in Limerick, has also made some comments about the CBS video that you should take a look at this week. It's not that long. It's about 20 minutes, I think. It's called The Electronic Wasteland, and it shows what happens to U.S. electronic waste, like computers, etc. But the same kind of thing, of course, is happening with European and other electronic waste. We've also, this is the week where you get a chance to read Garrett Harding's The Tragedy of the Commons. Please do that. It's crucial text in the course. And I've also asked you to do your carbon footprints. So please do those as well. It's an exercise at the bottom of this week's work. For some of you, the midterm is due tomorrow. I hope you'll send that to me by email, and for others in Hungary, it's a couple of weeks away yet because of the time difference in their semesters. Have a good week. Please drop me a note, engage in any way that you want. I think the course is going very well, and I hope you do so. You think so as well.